Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Jim Dar's Tone Shifter channel, where we show you how to take any guitar and make it sound and play better. So join me in the Guitar Cabin, our musical sanctuary from day-to-day life, as we explore another really cool guitar project. I'm excited. Let's get to it. Well, welcome back, my friends, to the Guitar Cabin as we start a new project. As we talked about in the last video, we were looking at a Danelectro convertible reissue. Nice guitar, but something was done wrong to this guitar. And here are some of the clues that I showed you last time to see if you could figure it out. If you haven't figured it out yet, we'll be disclosing it in just a few seconds. And we've got a lot of good sleuths out there because a lot of people got it correctly. What was wrong with it was the bridge angle. Supposed to be like this, but is like this. Now, I noticed it when I first bought the guitar, as I was in the buying process actually. I talked to the owner about it, and he said, oh, no, it's in tune perfectly. Didn't want to argue because he did it himself. Didn't want to argue, but if he was perhaps playing it left-handed, which I don't know, it is set up correctly. So who's to say? So what we have to do now, there's also another issue. Hopefully you'll see this. I've got a good 1/4 of an inch flex in it, which means the top is going like this because of all the pressure here. So what do? Well, we got to be careful about a couple of things. We need to take the pickup out, take the tailpiece off, take the bridge out. I want to mark very carefully the alignment of the bridge this way, because to me it appears like this bridge is set a little too far toward the bass side. That's also evidenced by taking a look at all the real estate you have here on the high E. Here's a close-up of the neck angle. And you have very little real estate there. So ideally, the bridge should go this way once the correct angle is determined. But that leaves us with another situation we need to resolve. There's nothing underneath the bridge. There's no posts, there's no sound post, there's no bridge block. So we're going to have to think about carefully what we want to do to that. I'm thinking of putting a bridge block in there, a piece of spruce or mahogany, but it'll make the guitar sound a little different, but that's okay because it's kind of dull and dead sounding now. So if it sounds a little brighter but still has that acoustic feel, it might be just perfect for what we're looking for. So I think what I'm going to do, get it apart, take some measurements, figure out what's going on, decide what to do with it, and then go for it. Pretty simple project, I would think. First thing I need to do, without changing the angle of the neck at all, this way, I need to get this stuff off so I can make some marks where I keep losing this. I keep losing it, but I keep finding it where I last put it. It's funny how that works. 25 is right here, but let's check on the 12th fret. It's not quite 24, it's not 12 and a half, which would make it 25. So I have to compensate for that. And interesting. Sometimes I'll put a little mark right on the rule. Then I'll take it up here and now way off. This thing is pushed too forward this way, which will help us. So that's good to know. I'm going to turn off the video, take some of this stuff off, and I'll show you how I do it. It's pretty simple. Just take everything apart, note where it goes, be careful of the wiring so you don't pull any wiring apart. Be careful you don't slip with the screwdriver and gouge the paint finish. Just be careful and proceed methodically, and I think you'll be in pretty good shape. It's really quite easy once you get the hang of it. Well, we're back. We got the pickups and the control and the jack out of the guitar. We got the Tunematic style ABR1 bridge. AB says BREG, anyway, it's a bridge, and it's a pretty decent bridge the way it feels. But we've got a concave bow in the top here that will correct for that. So what I want to talk about now is how I go about figuring out how to position this thing this way, this way, this way, or this way. So I do that. I take the guitar off, take some measurements. Usually I'll do that. I'll do that. And then strokes of this. Okay, so what I've done is I've taped the top of the guitar up. Isn't that fantastic? It requires 5 years of apprenticeship in masking tape removal and sticky. Now I also have to take it back off again. But anyway, I'm just kidding. Let's have a little fun here. So once I've established the general area, I want to figure out how the neck lays this way and how it affects where the bridge is going to go. So what I do is I lay it flat up against there, the side of the fingerboard, and then I transfer that line here, usually in a pen, and I do the same thing for the other side. Making sure I'm flush all the way there, flush all the way against the side of the fingerboard, and I'll do the same thing again here just to double check it. See, I got a little bit different, maybe a 64th, maybe less than that. You can also flip the gauge over. You know, that's pretty good. That's good. That's good. Okay, so I've got, that's my edge going that way, and the way I do it is I can kind of line it up on the bridge to where I'm even. The next thing I need to do is mark the center line, and as I showed you before, I marked it because it's a little off. I'm marking it again. I'm starting at the crown of that fret. I'm marking it that way. So that gives me 25 and an eighth. So if I draw a line now here, line it up to the nut exactly, and do a 25, I'm just going to do a 25-inch line there, and do the same thing here. That's my 25-inch line there. Now this line is going to be a little further back, which is okay. But what I want to do is connect the two outside lines. So I have a parallel line here. So that should be 25 inches on the nose off the sides in the center. And it is, okay? So that gives me, I know this is kind of complicated, but bear with me. That gives me a straight line, which is 25 across there. So what I want to do is go to the center. There's a couple of ways I can get the exact center, and this is important. Now you'll see I've got two parallel lines right here with a gap in the middle. Well, that middle is the true center of where it's laying. So I look for reference points on the bridge. I really don't have any on, well, maybe I do on the back here.
You know the old saying, measure twice, cut once? Well, you're kind of doing the same thing here. Trying to make sure we're exactly in the center line of the neck as the way the neck is pitched at the current time. Also want to make the side-to-side angle correct on the neck where it corresponds to the bridge location. So I double check everything maybe 3 or 4 times just to make sure I'm doing everything right. And as you'll see in a little bit, I kind of mess up.
Okay, we plugged the holes here and we've got it flush underneath. What I did was I took a straight edge, metal straight edge, and ran it across the top over these areas so I got them both flat. Now my thought was to cut a piece about like this, and then I realized, no, I won't be able to get it in there. I'll have to make it shorter, but then would that span the bridge posts? And it just barely does. So I have to figure out how to align it this way and this way, just so I get underneath here. I think I'm going to go to the bandsaw and can cut this piece down so I can, see, I can't fit it in. No, I can't fit it in, so I think I'm just going to drop it straight in. I think it'll work. Might be a little too tight. Nope. So I want to mark that. Or do I want to put it in this way? Now the trick is not to get glue all over everything and get it in the right place fast. Fast, fast, fast. Zippity fast. Okay. Got my block. My block's going to be positioned right about here. I'll have to push it in as far as I can this way and then align it from the front of the guitar, and we'll see how it works. Doesn't matter if it's off a little bit, as long as it's supporting the pushing the top back out so it's flat. Remember, this is curved in this way here. So as long as it's pushing it out so it's flat, I'm in good shape.
Now I'm taking great care to try to get this sound post, the bridge block, whatever you want to call it, in the right position. I'm going to get it as close as possible under the bridge, straddling it evenly. And in order for me to do that, I'm using long screwdrivers, big heavy-duty screwdrivers, tapping it in place, and also using a about a 24-inch thinly cut piece of mahogany that I can get in at an angle and get some leverage on the side to push it back in the position. When I look at the front of the guitar, I can actually see the bridge post, sound post, bridge plate, whatever you want to call it, pretty easily, and can tell if it's pretty centered or not. I think I'm doing a pretty good job of getting it centered. It's not absolutely 100% required that it be centered, but I'd like it to be as centered as possible to help with the sound projection. So that's what I'm doing. Little bit, little bit, little bit. Adjust, check, then hopefully I'll be done soon. And once I finished with the bridge block, I went ahead and drilled the holes where I had marked it. And you'll notice the top is the plugged holes where it was originally. So you can see the angle has changed drastically. Also, to my chagrin, the width has changed a little bit too. That was unintentional, and I didn't think enough to study it before I drilled the holes that it was going to be off a little bit, which is going to create all kinds of problems. I made two errors here, and the second one was not using a drill press. I drilled the holes at a slight angle, which even made mounting the bridge worse. So it's back to the drawing board to figure out how I'm going to fix this. I'll probably have to over drill the holes a little bit and use a different post, but I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to be doing. So it was a costly mistake. It was a stupid error. It was something that I know better, something that I just kind of got carried away and was trying to get done. So let that be a lesson to you. Even the simplest of routines, if not thought out carefully and double checked and triple checked, can cause big problems for you. I ended up making the situation worse than it was when it started. Although it wouldn't play in tune, it's not going to play in tune now, and I have to figure out how I'm going to fix it. So, one of those things, guys. One of those things. Stay tuned. As always, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment or two, share with a friend, and be kind, be smart, have fun. Most of all, be safe. And remember, we make pickups.